Hi, my name is Steph Purpura, and I'm one of the co-founders of Powerful You. And this is my good friend Lilian Garcia. You may know her. She was the former host of WWE, and now she has her own podcast called Chasing Glory. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Steph. This is so incredible because not only did I get to do all those incredible things, but actually now I'm going to be part of Powerful You as the co-host with Henry Amar, and it's going to be in Los Angeles, California, May 17th through the 19th. And what is so awesome is the fact that this is all getting kicked off with powerful women.
Yes.
Steph, thank you for this because this is your idea to kick off this whole event with powerful women. Why do you feel it's so important to have this event?
I think it's important because I feel there's so many women who hate themselves and don't feel loved, and upon that, hating each other.
Yeah, I agree. I've always had a hard time with women. And I know that you and I are going to go into our personal stories as to why we got affected that way.
Yeah.
And the aftermath, right? Because when you get so, you get so attacked at such a young, early age, you can start creating such a distrust. And it's so wild how you and I now just talking about this event and talking about doing this, I mean, this is the actual kickoff to the event.
Yeah.
We were sharing about the first time that we met.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
So apparently James, who actually is your husband, who's the other co-founder of Powerful You, was taking you to dinner with my husband and I just found out you were going to the dinner kicking and screaming. Tell me about this.
That's true. I always have felt that women don't like me. And I always feel like if I walked into a room full of 50 men, I could have 50 friends. But if I walked into a room or a dinner with you, one woman, I started feeling insecure because I just thought women don't like me. They're going to judge me immediately. We're not going to be friends. For whatever reason I'm feeling about myself, it's portraying that.
Yeah, because that is the thing. When I met you, I mean, you're so beautiful, right? So when I met
So are you.
Thank you. I was just instantly like, wow, she's so pretty. And coming off the Salt Lake City event, I was floored. I was so in awe of what you and your husband have built and done.
Thank you.
And then when I met you, though, I felt this wall. And as I felt the wall, I took it as, oh my gosh, I'm not coming across well, and therefore she doesn't like me. Mm-hmm. And so it was so wild now that we got to talk about it and going, oh, no, I liked you.
Yeah.
I'm the one that felt insecure. And here I'm going, I was scared because I told the same thing to my husband as we were heading to the event. I was like, or to the dinner. I'm like, this is so cool. And they had this huge event and I can't believe they were getting ready to meet them. But what if she doesn't like me? Mm-hmm. What if she doesn't like me? So when I felt that wall immediately, I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. I did something. Yeah. So let's talk about why that's happened. Now, I know that, with myself, with growing up, I mean, I was raised in Madrid, Spain, and I had no problems in Madrid. I had friends. My parents got along great. For me, living there was my sister. I mean, we played all the time. And then we came to America when I was 8 years old. Now, my dad was actually working for the United States Embassy, so I'm an American in Spain. Mm-hmm. But his stint at the embassy was done. It was finished. So we came to the United States, and I'm so excited, like, America, yay, so cool. Get here, but in Spain, you wore dresses to school. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, everyone's wearing jeans, and I'm going to school in dresses. So the girls, instantly I'm standing out, right? So instantly they're like, who is this girl? I spoke Spanish. Now I did speak English, but they also knew I spoke Spanish. So at that time, coming from a different culture for them, again, I'm standing out. And so basically, I also felt the need to belong, to fit in, because all of a sudden now my parents are not, they're kind of, has some friction because my mom didn't want to move from Spain. Mm-hmm. So now family life is a little tousled, and I want to belong so badly at school because
And I think that's like that for so
Right?
many of us. We just want to fit in.
We want to fit in.
Yes.
We want to belong. But what happened? I'm seeing the popular girls and I'm thinking, okay, well, if I belong to that group, then that means I'm important.
Yeah. Then you have no issues. You're in the popular group.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
No issues whatsoever. I belong. Everything's good. If I can belong to the popular group here too, it doesn't matter what's going on at home. So what ends up happening though is I end up forcing myself to try to belong. I get to the lunchroom quicker than all the other girls. I know the table that they're going to sit in. So I end up sitting in that table before they even get there. So what happens is they all come in and I'm like, hi, hi. And they're like rolling their eyes like, who invited her? So instantly.
And how old were you?
That was when I was starting. I remember, that was in middle school. So I came in elementary school. But in elementary, I mean, I felt that, but it really hit hard in middle school.
Middle school's hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here I am, all of a sudden, too, I'm taking them into the guidance counselor. Because I tell the guidance counselor, I don't understand why they don't like me, and this is what's going on. So the guidance counselor, I'm sure she thought she was doing the best thing. She was bringing the girls in one by one to talk to me. Why don't you like her? Oh my God.
So you're like, now I'm embarrassed.
That's like the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do, right?
Yeah.
So I thought everything was going well, but then when the girls got out of there, they'd go tell the other girls, can you believe that she brought us into the guidance counselor?
Yeah.
So now it just makes it magnified. And so it continues and continues and continues through high school because once it starts, it kind of continues. And so I never kind of grasped that whole thing of I tried to force myself to belong. But fast forward to the WWE, this is what happened. I get in the WWE and then I'm actually getting announced to the ring right before we go live on camera. All the announcers get their own entrance. So I remember I'm going down to the ring and I hear the announcer, the other guy, saying, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Raw ring announcer, Lilian Garcia. When I hear my name, I cringe. I cringe so bad.
Really?
Because it brought me back to when I heard the girls say my name. I could hear them sometimes. I overheard them. Lilian this and Lilian that. She thinks she's this. She thinks she's that.
Yeah.
So instantly when I heard my name, and it felt that way too when somebody would ask me my name, I'm like, Lilian Garcia. So it created that, and it created a distrust with women. And I know that I take the responsibility though, that I obviously was trying to fulfill something at home with them, and I put so much emphasis on them to fill me, and that was too much. Right.
So how did you get over that? Because now you're like, Lilian Garcia, and it sounds so beautiful and great.
Thank you. I definitely have been doing work for the last 10 years. I got myself into these types of seminars, this type of work of empowering yourself, being around other women. I did a seminar that for 10 days I was infused with women. I think this is so
And did you feel
important.
insecure walking into that?
Oh, I was crying all the way there. I was crying in there. I was, and having to like tell them my story and being like, do you guys like me? I just want to be liked.
So did they embrace you? Or?
Yeah, at first it was wild because you hear everyone's story, and that's why I think it's so important, right? For you to share yours, and me to share yours.
Yeah.
Because the more I heard everyone's story, the more I was like, oh wow, you've been dealing with this too.
Because when you're in it, you feel like you're the only one.
The only one.
Yeah.
The only one. So as the years started going, I really started loving myself more, accepting myself, accepting my qualities and what I bring, and also taking responsibility and going back and putting a new meaning on that. Right? Because forever I thought that meant this, when it's like, oh no, I just wanted to belong here, but then you forced to take responsibility for what you did.
Right. And stop blaming everyone else.
And stop blaming everyone else.
Yeah.
I actually thank the girls now because they did so much for me. The whole road that I took there was so powerful and strong. and it made me who I am today. It also showed me, because I do remember that there was one time where I was watching them make fun of a girl who was in crutches, and this girl had to wear crutches full time.
That's terrible.
Right? And I
Yeah.
watched them make fun of her, and I'm going, why would they make fun of her? And I said, wow, if they're making fun of her, why do I want to belong to a group that's making fun of this girl? So it was really powerful for me to also know what I didn't want to belong to.
Right. And if they're making fun of somebody in crutches,
Yeah.
how do they feel about themselves?
Right? It's that's what I mean. I think that women, when we're putting other women down, it's because we feel so insecure about ourselves
absolutely.
that we feel like that's going to make us feel better, but it never does.
It never does. It makes you feel worse.
Yeah. I'd love to hear your story as to why you feel distrust. Is it a distrust that you feel with women?
So for me, at a young age, at the age of 8 years old, I was sexually abused. And my parents had divorced shortly after that, around 9. And I never told. I was threatened to never tell about my abuse. And I never told. My parents divorcing. My dad decided he didn't want to be a dad anymore. He left.
Oh, wow.
He just was done.
Yeah.
And I felt like between the abuse and my dad leaving, I felt like I was unlovable. If the one person on the entire planet, your dad, who's supposed to love you no matter what you do,
Yeah.
leaves, what does that say to you? And so I felt like I just started putting up walls. And even when I met James, there was a lot of walls put up. And I feel like, he would just be like, let's love each other and be happy. And I'm like, oh, I have all these issues. And I felt like if I was going to tell him what was wrong with me, he wouldn't love me because I was somehow damaged and not good enough to be with him.
Yeah.
And so us working together, figuring out, what is wrong with me, what is his issues, what is my issues, and just talking through that and realizing I am great. And I am worth loving. And I felt like growing up, after my parents' divorce, we had relocated to another town. I didn't know anyone. I felt like I was weird. Granted, no one told me it was weird. It's just, that's how I felt. I was weird. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anyone. And then making friends, girls can be so catty.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're friends one moment, and then you don't know what you did, and then they don't talk to you. And I think that's a lot of that goes on in junior high and high school. And in 1 minute you're going through something, and you don't have any friends. And I think so many of us go through that. And being a mom, teaching kids, like teaching your children to love themselves and to love and respect others, no matter where they are, is huge.
Yeah. So what do you feel like you've done work-wise? I'm sure you've done a lot of work.
Oh, yeah, a lot of work.
But like I said, even when I met you, your wall was still up. How much work have you done on your wall? And what do you feel like it's going to take to get that wall down?
I feel like I could blame anybody. I could be like, oh, Lilian, like, she's not going to like me. But I shouldn't make that about you. It's about me and how I feel about myself. You should look inward and say, why am I not good enough for Lilian to like me, or anyone for that matter? Because you should walk into a room and know that you love and respect yourself so much. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And if we end up being friends, then great. Which we did become great friends.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
But I mean, you should walk into a room and know that you are awesome, you are badass.
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't like you, it's about them, not you. You shouldn't make other people's emotions about yourself, because it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about them.
It reminds me when you said that about you making friends and then 1 minute you're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
I do remember that there was a specific girl that we were friends in high school, and I invited her to come and spend the night. And so she spends the night, and my parents were so awesome. They're like, we want to give you guys something different. So they took the van and they parked it in the backyard, which was a space so tight to get it to the backyard between the fence and there. And so they went through all that work, and then she and I spent the night in the van in the backyard, which was so much fun. And I thought, oh, this is so cool. And, it's just another thing to add to our friendship, right?
Yeah, that is fun. Yeah.
The next day I go to school, and now she's not talking to me. Now she's with the popular girls. Now she's being like, throwing me hate looks. And immediately I'm like, what did I do?
Yes.
What did I do? And sure enough, I found out years later, she was just so jealous of the house that I lived in, my parents, how nice they were, how they went through all that trouble, making something a big deal as far as that they would do that, right? Not just spend the night in a room, and maybe she was having a hard time with her parents or something, but I just remember later on finding out that it was all about her and her insecurities and how she just couldn't handle what I had just given her that night before. But I took it as me, as there's something wrong with me.
You. What did I do wrong? And then you probably replayed that back in your mind, like,
over and over.
What did I do? What did I say? Did I offend her?
Yeah.
I mean, we all do it.
Over and over and over. And now I see, we're in a powerful movement, right, with women. We got the empowerment. It's all about the empowerment, the Me Too movement, all of this. It's, women in the forefront, women getting the same pay. It's all about women getting to positions that men have had. And I'm the first one to say this is not about male bashing at all, because I love my husband, you love your husband.
Exactly.
I love men. I have a lot of friends that are male. But I do think it's good that this is all coming out, because it is important to have that and to have women elevate themselves and elevate other women. But for some reason, I still see the cattiness on social media or reality shows. What do you feel like about reality shows too?
I don't watch reality shows for that reason. I hate them. I don't like them. I don't like reality shows.
Yeah,
I don't listen to them, and I don't watch them because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, some of those housewife reality shows, all of that,
I don't watch
to create the drama, to sell the tickets for people to watch, right? They're constantly being catty, talking behind each other's back, constantly fighting, huge fight. And guys, they literally sit back and they go, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why are you guys acting like this? They look at each other like,
women are crazy.
Women are crazy. But
Yes.
do you feel, I know we were talking about this before, I mean, what's your take on the way that we were raised as far as dance lessons, pageants, all these things that were constantly in competition with one another?
I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible because you teach your children at a young age that they should be judged and that they should judge other people.
Yeah, because the first thing you walk into when you're in a pageant, for example, your mom, whatever, you're kind of sizing up the competition, and I could hear moms, saying, "Oh, you're better, you're better than her, right? You've got this better than her."
But that's just all based on looks.
Based on looks. And I'm not bashing the pageants because I was in pageants. I don't know, were you in pageants?
No.
Ever? No.
No.
So you've never liked them?
No.
All right. So, but I was in them, but my mom never put me in them. I mean, I think my first pageant was like 16 or 17 years old, and I wanted to do it. My sister did it, and I was like, oh, cool, I want to do it. But I do remember that I started feeling a little bit of this, my sister actually, she won Miss South Carolina.
Wow.
And then I competed 4 years later, and I competed in Miss South Carolina, and instantly all the girls were like, oh, she's Dahlia's sister, so she's going to be actually fixed to win this competition. So immediately it was like...
And then you feel like, what, I couldn't win this on my own? Am I not good enough to win this on my own?
Yeah. And I remember that even the state paper came out and said, the pageant's going to be fixed to win, and Lilian's going to be, you'll watch, Lilian's going to be fixed to win so that it could be two sisters winning the pageant.
That's terrible.
I was devastated.
That's terrible.
Because I did so much work for an entire year on this. But I do remember that the girls instantly, because I was Dahlia's sister, they just didn't like me. I had like this target on my back right from the very beginning. And my roommate, God bless her, I got to know my roommate, and she actually lost her voice. She was a singer, and she lost her voice.
Oh, wow.
And I was helping her, I was giving her throat coat, this and that. And she's like, wow, I'm competing against you, and you're helping me. And I said, yeah, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Like, I want you at your best.
Yeah.
Why do I want you, I want you to do your best, and I want to do my best, and then
That's
we'll see what
amazing.
happens, right? But I remember her saying, I never gave you an opportunity at the beginning before judging you. And now that we've been, spending the night with each other and getting to know each other and all.
That's
I can
amazing
see-
that you would just help her.
Well, I think, again,
And that's how it should be as women.
should
Even if you're competing against each other, why not let's just love each other and do our best?
absolutely, it made me feel good, right? It made me
Yeah,
feel good.
because you're helping someone.
I'm helping someone. I want her at her best. I want to compete. I want to know, if I win, I want to know that I beat everybody's best. So you want people to be at their best. You don't want to sit there and just try to squash somebody down. Have you had personal experiences like where you've seen women cutting each other down?
Absolutely. I mean, just even being a mom at the school. I mean,
me
and
about
maybe it's just how they feel about themselves, but it's hard not to take personal when, you're trying to be the room mom or you're trying to be helpful, and it just seems like women don't like you.
Yeah. How hard has that been for you?
It's been really hard. Because I feel like, I mean, now I'm like, okay, well, great, like everything, I feel good about myself now, like, but I should take that as, I can't fix everyone. We can just give people knowledge to love themselves, and maybe we start treating each other better.
Yeah, and that just kind of creates more of a wall, right, for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to keep, it's almost like it reaffirms.
You're like, because it's like, they're like giving you a choice
Yeah.
to say, do I really like myself? And then somebody's like terrible to you. And you're like, oh, yeah, well, maybe there is something wrong with me. You question yourself. But you just have to know without a shadow of doubt, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're great, no matter what. If you feel that about yourself, it doesn't matter what anyone in the room thinks of you.
Because that's, I think, what's happened is the fact that when somebody, again, when we met and when I saw your wall and I took it as me, it was kind of like, there it is, Lil, see? Confirmation, you can't have girlfriends. Because I told my husband, he knows this, I have more guy friends. I'm always out with him and the guys.
Yeah.
And he's told me about, why'd you make girlfriends? And I said, because they end up burning me in the end.
I know, that's what I always say to James. I'm like, okay, don't hate me, but I'm going to be his friend. Like, like I could do so much better if this was a room full of guys. And he's like, you're great. What are you so worried about?
Yeah. Because you think
and
back.
that's what makes me think like, okay, well, he's thought I was great for how many years? Like, maybe I really am great.
Yeah. I've forced myself now to go out and start making relationships with women. And I am so grateful because the more, and I think you and I, when we actually got to have a conversation, we were hanging out last night actually, and I got to confide with you on some personal things with me. It felt so good to be able to have that conversation with another female that could understand even what we're doing right now. You get it. Like I could tell this to my husband and he might not understand everything, especially the whole women and the catty and the bickering and what we have to deal with.
Women need women, and we need girlfriends, and we need to have somebody to, say my husband was a jackass last night. Or just tell each other personal things that maybe you don't want to tell everyone else, but you have your girlfriends that you trust and love, and you know that they're not going to hurt you. Women need women.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to be the person that changes, right? We're in a position right now. We've witnessed it in our lives. So be the change. Don't continue that train, because that's the thing, is that people will continue this pattern and this behavior because they were treated a certain way. They're going to turn around and do it to somebody else.
Exactly. And just like on social media, you said a little bit ago about social media. Social media is huge. And you see all these like women like dressed beautiful. And then there's all the haters in the comments. You look fat. You look ugly. Why would you wear that? Just unfollow them.
Yeah.
If you're going to tear someone down, to make yourself feel better, unfollow them.
Yeah. I think it's absolutely crazy when people go on there. I mean, social media is great, but a dark horse too.
Exactly.
I kind of tell people so many times, this is what I've done with social media. I'm a producer of content. I do not, like, I create it, but I don't read. Like, I don't sit there and start scrolling down and
Reading
going
your
down
comments.
I don't hardly even read my comments. Sometimes I do, but I'm saying even checking out other pages and all that, because sometimes when I go down the rabbit hole, it starts making me feel worse. Oh, well, their life looks better and their life looks better. And I think what people need to realize is we're only showing the great parts about our lives. We're not showing the tears. We're not showing the frustrations. We're not showing the arguments. We're not showing any of that on social media. And that's something that I have to remind myself when I see somebody's page and everything looks so amazing.
It's so pretty. I know, I'll be like, I'll look at somebody's page, I'm like, why doesn't my page look like this? This is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
But you don't see anything.
Yeah. And that's and
like, you don't see how they really feel about themselves either.
Yeah. I think it's more important to be authentic, and that's what this is all about. So I love the fact that you're doing this. I mean, kicking this off in Los Angeles. The first half of the first day, right, is on the 17th, May 17th in Los Angeles, California. Is going to be
Women's Day.
Is a Women's Day. It's powerful women.
But that doesn't mean that men shouldn't be there. Men should absolutely be there, because men should be there to support and love and respect women. So men should absolutely go. So if you're like, oh my God, it's for women. No, go respect them, because maybe you're single, you still have a mother, you still have a sister, you still have friends, coworkers, any female in your life.
Yeah. Not only that, understand them, right? I think it'll be so powerful to understand women. That's the main key. I think you will be immersed. And if you're single, there's a room full of women there. Why not, right?
Yeah. And I'm so grateful that you're going to be there hosting with Henry. It's going to be amazing.
This is going to be,
I really appreciate you.
The whole weekend is going to be so incredible. I mean, watching it at Salt Lake, I was so wowed at how different this event is to anything I've been doing.
Yeah.
And anything that I've been to. Like I said, I've been in this world now for like 10 years of really diving in and dissecting myself and my emotions and why am I feeling this way, and taking responsibility, because I played victim for a really long time.
Well, and that's how you get your power back. You take responsibility. And in my healing, taking responsibility didn't mean I was weak. It meant I had power. Because I didn't take responsibility for my abuser. I took responsibility for how that made me feel about myself.
And I really applaud you and James for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And when I heard your story on stage, the whole time it was wild, because I came there completely as a spectator. I didn't know anything.
Right.
As I'm watching the story, I'm like, God, it would be so amazing to meet them. It'd be so amazing. And then when all of that happened, I was just like, oh, this is incredible. And it really is what you put out there and what you really crave and all, but I know that I was open to it. And so with this, I feel like it's so important to tell people, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Just go to the event, because put it this way, you won't lose anything.
Right.
Well,
and I always thought, I always equaled my story as weakness. Vulnerability equaled weakness to me. And really, it's powerful, and it's strength, and it shows that you are not afraid anymore. You're not afraid to tell your story, and you're not afraid to be who you really, truly are.
Yeah.
And so when we filmed our stories, it was the scariest thing I've ever done. I'm like, oh my God, like only like a few people know my story, and now I'm just going to tell the whole world my story. Yeah. And I was terrified. But really, I felt such a relief after, because I just felt like I had it all inside, and I just let it out. I'm like, I'm just going to let it out. And it was terrifying when those videos were playing at the event. And I just was like, afterwards, I just felt better, because everything came out, and I wasn't afraid to tell anyone anymore. Everyone knew my story, and everyone was applauding me for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't really expecting that.
Oh man, I'm telling you, when I was watching this, I literally was like, can I just give her a hug? Could you be around?
And I
so
had
could give
so
her a
many
hug?
people hug me after and say thank you, and I just wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I think it's so important that everybody, whether you're a male or you're a female, tell
your story.
Your story.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, and I've noticed that on my podcast when I have, you know, I interview mostly WWE wrestlers, female, male,
Right.
Because that's from the world that I came in, right? But people. And the reason I did that is people really were like, oh, they're just meatheads.
Yeah.
You know, these are just, what? I'm like, no. These are people with some powerful stories, but I really didn't
Well,
even know.
they have hearts too. Just because they're wrestlers, that doesn't mean
Right.
they don't have a heart.
Right.
You're right.
And I'll never forget, like Nikki Bella, she was competing in Dancing with the Stars. And after she competed with Dancing with the Stars, I told her, I was like, please let me do a story on you, please, please, please. Because she was one that put walls. I always felt, I mean, I love Nikki and we got along great and all, but I could tell she put on a wall to people that especially didn't know her. When she came on my podcast, she talked about the fact that when she was in school very early on, she had 2 guy friends and they actually took a picture of her from underneath her skirt and posted the pictures all over the school. And people started making fun of her, girls laughing, guys
That's
pointing
terrible.
at her, and she was like, what is going on? And then she found out, she saw the posters, and she was mortified, right?
can't
Because
even
she
imagine.
trusted. So it's not
Right.
even just women not trusting women, it's also women and guys, and it's the trust factor. And so instantly, what she created was, I can't trust men with that, right? So we all have our stories as to what happens, but now she's rewriting that whole thing. And that's the thing, is her sharing that. All of a sudden, people were talking about that, and they were like, oh, I'm so glad you shared that, because this happened to me. I was made fun of in
Right.
school, and it has chased me all through life, and I put up my guards because of that.
Yeah.
So the more we tell the stories, the more we can break down those walls. And anorexia, bulimia, you and I both.
Both. We were both bulimic. And it's how we felt about ourselves. And even when, like I said in my videos, like when I was a size 0, all I could see was fat. I thought I was fat at a size 0.
Yeah, it was the same way.
And that's how your perception is so skewed about yourself.
I remember that actually for me, it kind of was like a form of getting control. I thought that being bulimic was, I have control. When actually I was completely out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Completely out of control.
Oh, yeah.
But I felt like, oh, if I could eat this and then I could purge it, that means I have control as to what goes in my body and what goes out of my body. Because I didn't have control of my life, home life, my school life, I wanted to control this. And then I was completely so out of control. But I think that that's the other thing, is because of the judging. Well, I even told you, I don't feel good right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is wrong with you? Like, you look so beautiful.
Yes, you do. You're amazing. She's amazing.
But it's that it doesn't mean that just because you start doing this, all your insecurities are gone. No.
No.
You have to keep working
You got to
on it.
keep working on yourself every single day.
Yeah. So I feel like that's why it's important to keep emerging, keep studying, right? Keep reading
Yes.
books, keep coming to seminars like this, and events like this, powerful women. I mean,
You can never love yourself too much.
So May 17th through the 19th is going to be in Los Angeles, California, and you and James are going to be there.
Yes.
Henry Marr and myself are going to be co-hosting. We're also going to be speaking. I'm so excited about that, and throwing some extra little surprises in there the whole
Yes.
weekend. But Powerful Women is going to kick off the entire event, and all you have to do to get your tickets right now, right, is powerful-u with the letter U.com. That's the easiest way.
Yes.
Don't you guys have like early bird specials and all of that going on?
Yeah. I think they end
Pretty soon. So hurry up.
They end soon. So get your tickets and please come see us.
And how do you feel about this? Like, are you excited about it?
I'm so excited about it. I think it needs to happen, and women need to come together and realize we're more powerful together.
That's it. We're more powerful together. So guys, don't forget that, and just be kind to each other, and don't play off your insecurities and put somebody else down so that you can feel secure, because trust me, it just doesn't work. It doesn't make you feel good. So join us, Powerful Women, to kick off the Powerful You event, May 17th through the 19th. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.